Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, joining me is my Buddy Reads co-host, Classy Green. We'll be discussing the audiobook version of the thriller title, The Arrangement by Robin Harding, narrated by Amanda Dolan. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Blink YA and The Memory Thief, written by Lauren Mancy. I'm happy to share this young adult fantasy title because it's the Mocha Girls Read National Book Club's October Book of the Month. In the city of Craywick, memories reign. The power-obsessed ruler of the city, Madame, has cultivated a society where memories are currency. Citizens are divided by ability, and gifted individuals can take memories from others through touch as they please. 17-year-old Etta Lark is desperate to live outside of the corrupt culture, but grapples with the guilt of an accident that has left her mother bedridden in the city's asylum. When Madame threatens to put her mother up for auction, a Craywick practice in which a criminal's memories are sold to the highest bidder before being killed, Etta will do whatever it takes to save her. She sets out on a journey in which she faces startling attacks, unexpected romance, and above all, her past in order to set things right in her world. The Memory Thief is available now in hardcover, ebook, and audiobook from your favorite bookseller. Learn more by visiting mochagirlsread.com. Hey everyone, I am your host, Tamara Ford, and thank you for downloading this month's Buddy Read discussion featured here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Every week, we get bookish with roundtable book discussions, 5-minute shelf bites, interviews, and more. If you are new here and you're wondering, what is a buddy read? This feature is where Classy and I select a standalone title that we're both interested in. Then we have a candid conversation about the book or audiobook. So grab a glass of wine, a cocktail, a cup of tea or coffee, whatever it is, grab your drink of choice and let's settle in for this fun discussion. As always with book chats, there is a spoiler alert in effect. You've been warned. Don't miss out on our movie adaptation fantasy casting toward the end of the podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with one book nerd friend or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out and I appreciate you. You can find both Classy and myself on Instagram and Twitter. If you've read the book or listened to the audiobook and would like to contribute to the conversation, be sure to join the Shelf Addiction Official Facebook group. You can talk about this title with us there as well as other bookish topics. I hope to hear your thoughts on this discussion. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. Today we are talking about The Arrangement by Robin Harding, and joining me as always is the Buddy Reads co-host, Classy Green. Welcome back, Classy.
Hi, Tamara.
How's it going, lady?
It's going,
Yeah, I know.
Trying to live the dream.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, there's so much real world stuff going on where we're recording this, but we're not going to talk about that because we're like a month before, so no one wants to talk about that.
No.
We are here to talk about this book or audiobook because we both listen to this on audiobook as we usually do, right? You did audio?
Yes, I did audio.
So let me just throw down the stats of the audiobook before Classy gives the synopsis. So the listening length of the audiobook was 9 hours and 15 minutes. This was released on July 30th, 2019 by Simon & Schuster Audio, and the narrator was Amanda Dolan. So there's some of the stats, and now we're going to get the synopsis, and then we'll just take off running.
The Arrangement by Robin Harding. I am reading the synopsis from Goodreads. Natalie, a young art student in New York City, is struggling to pay her bills when a friend makes a suggestion. Why not go online and find a sugar daddy? A wealthy, older man who will pay her for dates and even give her a monthly allowance. Lots of girls do it. Nat learns. All that's required is to look pretty and hang on his every word. Sexual favors are optional. Though more than 30 years her senior, Gabe, a handsome corporate finance attorney, seems like the perfect candidate, and within a month, they are madly in love. At least Nat is. Gabe already has a family, whom he has no intention of leaving. So when he abruptly ends things, Nat can't let go. She begins drinking heavily and stalking him, watching him at work, spying on his wife, even befriending his daughter, who is not much younger than she is. But Gabe's not about to let his sugar baby destroy his perfect life. What was supposed to be mutually beneficial arrangement devolves into a nightmare of deception, obsession, and when a body is found near Gabe's posh Upper East Side apartment, murder. Dun, dun, dun.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a question about the synopsis. I'll have to
Yeah, what's
highlight
up?
that.
Mm-hmm.
Spying on his wife? I don't remember that, but let's tag
No.
that.
Yeah, and spying on him at work. Did she do that? I don't remember her
I don't
doing that.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, you know what? I think she might have stood outside the building, or yeah, because I think she was trying to catch him after work, and I
Mm-hmm.
think she thought about it and left. But I don't remember her spying on the wife.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean,
Okay,
yeah, I don't remember that. So
okay, that's why I paused a little bit while I was reading it, and I'm like,
you're like, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. So should we talk about the characters first, or should we talk about the things that we liked first? Or do those
Hmm.
go hand in hand?
Let's see.
There's so many ways we could break this book down.
Right. I say we talk about our likes and dislikes because I
Okay.
think that will coincide with the characters because, yeah, I think that would. I think that would
Okay.
help.
All right, cool. Because that actually works out great for me because I actually did a list of things that I loved, things that I liked, and things that I didn't care for.
Oh, you have three.
I have three.
You did your homework.
I
I'm
did.
slacking. I'm
Oh, no.
slacking over here.
I bet what I liked, you like. I bet. Okay. So let's
Okay.
try it. Okay. So the very first thing that I listed on my things that I loved about this book was the diverse cast. Not only was it colorful, right? We got more than white people. We had mixed people. We had people from other countries. We had different sexual preferences. It was diverse in a lot of ways. So I like that a lot.
Yes, I agree. That was I mean, it was New York. The setting was in New York, and I believe she represented New York in this book very
Yeah.
well, especially, and another, as a synopsis says, she was an art student. So
Mm-hmm.
arts, that is a very diverse population of people in the art community too.
Yes, it is because she could have went the Upper East Side route like Gossip Girl and only seen white faces with a lot of money with one chick. You know what I'm saying? She could have
Yep,
went that right way. She
she
didn't.
could have. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was pleasantly surprised with the diversity.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't read Robin Harding before, so I'm not sure if her other book, which actually was making its rounds, I think in 2017. What was that? I can't remember the title right now, but she had a really popular book out in 2017. And so anyway, I don't know if it's the norm for her writing to have a diverse cast or not, but I just really, it was a pleasant surprise to see it here.
Right. I love that the book started off with a bang. It did grab my attention. It grabbed my attention immediately. The book starts off with her calling her father saying, "Dad, I'm in jail. I
I
killed
killed
someone."
someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, being a lover of everything thriller, mystery, for you to start the book off like that, to grab my attention, to keep me interested, is something that I love. And I would say she kept me interested for the most part of the book. I mean, it there was a moment of lull, but that opening line probably, was was great for me. So that would be one thing that I did love.
I agree with you because I think that also set the pace, which was fast paced. And I feel like that pace pretty much kept for the whole duration of the story, mostly. And I just really love that because, we do a 1 hour, I guess, preview of the title before we decide yay or nay.
Right.
And that 1 hour flew by so fast. I'm like, oh, I want to keep going. Like, we have to keep going.
Right. I think
Yeah.
you told me you were 30% in when you said you
Mm-hmm.
liked it. I was like, hello, overachiever.
I know, but I couldn't stop. I didn't realize. See, it was really, it just slid by me because I was so interested in what was going on. And I'm like, oh no, I better stop
Right.
here.
I better tell her right because our other agreement was we were going to try and finish it, not leave so much space in between recording so we can try to remember. So yeah, and I just wanted to mention that in case people were wondering, why did you say you had to slow down?
Yeah. Yes, because I had to pace myself. And sometimes when I get into a book or audiobook that I'm just loving, I just want to binge it, right? Even if I find
Yeah.
the story very engrossing, I'm like, I have to find out. And that's all I can think
Right.
about. So I'm listening to this story any second I can get. That's usually what happens. But I did manage to pace myself pretty well, I think, when it was all said and done. So that's good.
Yeah. I agree. It happened to me as well. And then I paced myself, and then I think I just went full throttle Friday or Saturday to get it over with. But I was like you, like, okay. So I was trying to find something to read in between to fill in the space.
Okay, so I think one of the things that I also did love, I think it was something that I didn't think I would like as much, but I did like it in this context, was the whole world of the whole sugar daddy, sugar baby thing. It's very fascinating to me. And I feel like I learned so much in this book.
Oh my God. I'm like over here with my mouth open because, man, this is a whole new world. Okay, I won't sing it for you.
Right.
I think I even text you. It was just so, like you said, I think that's what drew me in because it was so interesting. You could tell that Robin did her homework. She did her
Yeah.
research. When they talked about the different sugar daddies, I was
Yes. Like, what was it?
laughing so
Honey,
hard.
sugar, and then Splenda, which is like a sugar daddy on a budget or doesn't really represent what he really has.
A fake sugar daddy. And then there was a
Yeah.
salt daddy because salt looks
Yeah.
like sugar. I was like,
Yes.
oh gosh.
The
I have
salt
learned
daddy is the
so
one you should be scared of. Like, oh God.
right because yes. And it was I mean, like when I was reading this, I was like, oh, there's levels to this. Because
Yeah.
you just think sugar daddy, but I mean, what man or woman either when you're in that kind of world, everyone is trying to represent themselves in a different light because it's basically it's a facade. I mean, you want to present yourself as being the upper echelon of the desire of whoever, so you can get your needs met. And everyone is not what they're presenting, but yeah,
Right.
those levels, the honey dad and the gosh, man,
Yeah.
and the things that they do
Oh my gosh, those
and don't
acronyms.
do.
The acronyms. I'm like, wait, I'm like, well, what is that? So the main character, Nat, she goes to meet this guy and it turned out to be a disaster. And he's like, didn't you read my profile? She's like, yeah. He's like, you didn't read it well because I can't remember the acronyms. Do you know it, Classy?
It was DL. Oh gosh, I think I sent you the text. I think it was like Daddy, Big Daddy, Little Girl.
Little
I
girl.
think it was like,
Yeah, something.
yeah,
I'm
because he
like,
liked role playing.
yeah, so it was like BDLG or something like that. And
Yeah.
she's like, what? And she's just, what is that? She has no clue, and he's
Mm,
telling her, and I'm like, dang, I didn't know that either. I would have been all messed
no,
up because I wouldn't know. And I
because
guess
he
if you're
wanted her
just,
to wear a onesie.
yeah,
That's how
yeah,
right. He wanted her to wear a onesie. He had stuffed animals and something else. And she's like, okay, what is this? And I was done when he said onesie. I'm like, only unless you were talking about a onesie with feet in, but
no, hell
he
no,
said
because
onesie.
and when he finished talking, like I said this like literally moments before the author's words came across. I'm like, that's like a pedophile. And then she said the
Yes.
same thing. I'm like, that is what I think of. It's like, yes,
Yes.
that I'm gonna be judgy on this, and I feel this way on this particular topic. It is kind of like a pedophile. Like I'm not gonna dress like a young baby or a child. That's disgusting. So I was kind
Right.
of
Well, yeah, because he tried to make her say, "Oh, you're one of those one who's just out to get." What did he say? Who's not real? Who's just out to get money? She was like, "Excuse me, pot kettle. You want me to, be a child so you can get your rocks off, basically." So I think she let him have it, didn't she?
Well, it seemed like he was getting pretty rowdy.
Yeah.
I think she was like, oh, snap. I don't really realize what was happening or what I was getting myself into, and I've got to read those profiles better. So she did talk a
Right.
little crap to him before she left, but
Yeah.
he
Because
might have
this was
been
her.
salt. Like he said he had these kinks, but that could have went really badly.
Oh gosh, I think he might have. If it was me, I may have thrown a drink at him, but I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
I think I would have after he would have said that. But this was her second date because she went out with Gabe and wasn't sure if another date was possible.
Because she was so drunk.
Right, because she messed up the first date. And then her roommates gave her an ultimatum, so she needed money. So she went on her profile to see basically, Mama need a new pair of shoes. I need money quick. Let me just pick eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And I guess Mo won. And
Yeah,
it was a disaster. But
it
yeah, the
was.
sugar baby. No, no, no. You know what I really loved? When her friend introduced her to the club and she's like, welcome to the Sugar Bowl. I was like, oh,
Like, Lord, oh my
I
goodness, the
love
sugar
that
bowl, right.
name. Yeah, I love that.
Mm.
So yeah, that was a very interesting world.
I would love to know how Robin Harding did research for this. Was it just like internet sleuthing, or did she talk to sugar babies and sugar daddies? I would really love to know how she did the research.
I know on Goodreads, a woman did an interview with, I guess she has a group, and they did an interview with Robin. I didn't get to read it, but they interviewed her, just in Goodreads. They posted their questions and then Robin came back and answered. And I thought, just from scrolling, I thought I saw where she kind of talked about her research and how she had to rework some characters or something. So that was something I probably should have did my homework and read it beforehand, but I'll have to
Mm-hmm.
read it afterwards. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming
Okay.
she probably you can find everything on the net. So,
Yeah, you definitely
and
can.
I can imagine you could probably get some women who are willing to talk about it. It's the anonymity is, there. So I bet she could have, talked to some girls. And
Mm-hmm.
not all of them are young, I bet.
No. I mean,
No.
I guess it depends on how old the guy is and what he's looking for. But
Right.
I'm sure there's a market for all types of women, right? So,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
uh-huh. So I guess all of that rolled up, I really liked and didn't like at the same time, that it felt like a Lifetime movie. Like I loved that and I didn't at the same time, if that makes any sense at all.
Tamara. We are beginning to hang out way too much because remember what you said earlier that whatever you probably mentioned, I probably liked.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. I felt like this was while reading it, I just felt like it was, one of those Saturdays or Sundays where you're sitting back where there's nothing else on TV and, you're like, I know Lifetime has something on here that's, life
Mm-hmm.
is stranger than fiction, but, it borders on, it's kind of interesting, but then it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
over the top. So,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little, some things were very cliche, and I think that might have been, like you were saying, the pace was pretty good the entirety of the book, and then it got really cliche to the point where I was just like, blah, blah, blah. Come on, come
Mm-hmm.
on, come on. Or I felt like, I know at one point I was yelling at Natalie, like, girl, come on now. Did you really think when that man said I loved you that he was madly in love with you? He was in love
Oh,
with,
and
we
some
know
other
what he was in
stuff.
love with.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
She's
he
like, he
had an
said he loved
ego.
me.
No, he's
Oh
in love with the
gosh.
doe eyes that you're giving him with your, chasing him around and falling for him so
Yeah.
quickly and being so young and naive. He's loving all of that among some other physical things.
Right. And the fact that he thought he deserved this young thing or all of the sugar babies that he had because, his wife was sick. She let herself go. Um, all him and Celeste and the daughter wanted was his money and they were comfortable and I didn't get what I want. He was having a big man tantrum, so he thought he deserved this. So like you said, young thing, tight skirt, who's falling head over heels for him.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
A jerk.
He's like that typical, and I mean, I hate to say typical, but I've read and heard so many different times that when a woman is the one that gets sick in a relationship, the man is the one to bounce, to cheat, to do all these
Hmm.
other things. And the only reason that Gabe didn't bounce is because he had a lot of money
Mm.
and he was holding on to his money and he was doing some other things he wasn't supposed to be doing and he didn't want that getting out, right? So he's like, even the stuff she knows about, I don't really want to give up half of that either.
Right.
So he was
Yep.
purposefully, he's like, I'm not leaving my wife. That will never happen, but I'm going to have the side chicks.
Right. But I mean, did you feel like there were moments where he felt like maybe I could, and then all of a sudden Violet got sick or not
Yeah.
sick, but Celeste brought up that she was cutting herself. But weren't there moments where he felt like, and maybe it was just wishful thinking that he did want to possibly run away with her.
I
But
feel like
then I
he
think
did entertain it. He was right there.
yeah,
I feel like had his wife not, which we turned out, she had to let that little nugget out on purpose when she did. And I
right.
thought it was like the timing was very odd myself. I'm like, oh wait, no, she know what's going on. I felt that because
Mm-hmm.
you just gonna be like, you know how he feels about his daughter, and the
Yep.
quickest way to control him is to drop a guilt trip on him about his daughter. So that's
Yeah.
what she did. And I'm like, well, up until that point, I think Gabe was right on that border. He might have done it because he was so enamored with how Natalie made him feel.
Yes. Yep.
But his daughter
He
snapped him right back into shape. He's like, nope, can't do it.
right, because remember, like you were saying, when Celeste said, drop that nugget of
Mm-hmm.
information about her cutting herself, he was just about to reveal something to her. He was like, we need to talk.
Yep.
So I think that might have been that possibility. If he wasn't going to say I was going to leave her, he was going to confess that he was having an affair.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I knew, like you said, he was right on the cusp. He was entertaining it, and it was just like, and then she dropped the bomb on him. I was like, I felt the same way. I was like, yeah. And then she was like, so what did you want to talk about?
Oh,
Classic.
nothing, honey. Let's just handle our daughter. We gotta sort that
Right.
out.
Oh, that wasn't that important. That
No.
wasn't that important.
I was just gonna tell you that I was a big ass cheater, and I want to leave you for a girl that's 22 years old. That's how.
Oh, right,
Never
for this young girl who has a nice tight body who loves me to pieces. I could
And
do no wrong in her eyes.
and
Yeah.
that's what's funny to me, and that's why I know these type of situations never work out. Even if they do for a short amount of time, they will never work, no matter
No.
what. Because guess what? Your 22-year-old body becomes a 32-year-old body, and becomes a 42-year-old body, just like hers.
Can you
So
say it louder for the people in the back?
exactly. So that
Oh
will
no.
never be a long term thing, because the
No.
minute you don't look 22 years old anymore,
Right.
he's going to move
But they can
on.
but they can look 70.
Yeah.
And it's really all about power and money.
Mhm.
That's what it all boils down to. In power and money, you can get whatever the heck you want. And I don't
Mhm.
care how much surgery you get, honey, you still don't look like you're 22.
No. No. And
Naturally.
right. And the funny thing about it, we were talking about Celeste, his wife, manipulating him to, bend the way she wants him to bend. Natalie was doing the same thing but with a different. It was more like the battle between the two women, like whose will is stronger, whose manipulation is stronger. Because Natalie was trying to be like, "Oh, my crazy ex, he's after me, he's back," So
Right.
that was pulling him a little bit.
Right. Well, she started doing that because at first she wasn't sure if it was him that was doing some of I mean, she kind of had an idea, but there was never proof positive that he was stalking her. And then when Gabe dropped the bomb, like you were saying, she did say that, "Oh, my ex broke into my apartment." Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she didn't know it
Sure.
was him. She just made some assumptions that it was him. um
Right.
yeah.
And that was a nice little red herring there, though. That
Yeah,
that
I
Robin
didn't
threw in
think it
there.
was him though. I didn't. And this was.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, I mean, Gabe threatened him. Gabe beat him up so bad, he got to be stuck on stupid to come back.
Thank you. I'm sorry. My eye, I think I didn't, I think we found out that his eye socket was
Oh,
messed up pretty
Lord.
bad, right?
Yeah, she messed him up. Yeah. He went
Yeah.
limping
Well,
home to Washington State or wherever they're from. I think it was Washington
right.
State.
Oleg's cousin probably beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah,
Who
he sicked him
possibly
on
beat
him.
that man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she was beginning to be uh more manipulative too in her tactics, because at first, she was just like, okay, I'll take the money, and then she fell in love, and then but in the meantime, while she's doing all this, she was always also under the assumption that he was a divorced man who
Yeah.
only had a daughter. That was his only responsibility, or of way of being tied down and not being able to be with her full time, was this daughter. She didn't know he was a married man.
She didn't, but guess what? It's not her business. She's a damn paid employee. You're paid. Okay, I don't have to tell you a thing. So I kind
Nope.
of understand why Gabe didn't feel, especially since he was just telling her what she wanted to hear. I'm still paying your bills. I'm still paying
Right.
you. We have a agreement.
Right.
We have an
We have an
arrangement. So I
arrangement.
don't owe you any explanation. You taking this money,
Nope.
aren't you?
Right. Just as I giveth, I can taketh away.
I mean, come on, girl. Like,
Yeah.
she a dummy. And her
Yeah.
friend told her, she said, this is not what you think it is. She tried to warn her, but of course, she like, I'm not listening to you. This is
He's
different.
different.
Yeah.
He's different. He loves me. Poor child. And then, and like you were saying, she was 22 and old enough. But then again, at 22, if you're not experienced in love, and if this seems like the first thing that comes across is, because again, Robin did play that heavy on us, that she had not been in too many relationships, and the one relationship she was in, the dude was stalkerish, broke into her house.
Yeah.
So here she has this night. Did I hear you like? You were like, huh?
I
Did you
said,
just
yeah.
moan?
No, girl,
Like,
no.
no, I thought you were just like not moan, but you know how you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you're not giving poor Natalie any sympathy.
No, I
I
don't
think
give her any
I just
sympathy.
heard that.
I don't
No,
give her any because
right? I thought I
I
heard
don't.
that from you.
Don't give her any. I'm
I
like,
think I
okay.
literally heard. I think I literally heard your side eye.
Well, you might have because my side eye game is strong. So you might have. But I don't know. I feel like this is, this is present day, right? So I feel like 22-year-olds in present day would be a little smarter than 22-year-olds in 1996. With all
But
that's
when it
out
comes
there,
to
the
matters of the
phones, the
heart,
internet, I guess, whatever. I
when it
guess.
comes to matters of, I'm gonna play devil's ad. When you in love, nothing.
Oh,
You speak no
Lord.
other language but
Yes,
of
I
the heart.
guess. She's
I
in
don't even
love
think
with
she
his
cared about the
wallet.
money anymore. Right? She didn't even really care about the money anymore.
Well, that's what
It
she
was all about
says.
Gabe.
That's what she says. But
Well,
if he
because
was a
well,
broke
for if you
ass, she wouldn't want him.
well, and then there's that.
She wouldn't. She would not
No.
want him.
But I mean, at this point that now she's in love, everything is taken care of. She doesn't have it. Her bills are paid. She's not the broke college kid anymore. She's not the girl who doesn't have an apartment. She has this nice apartment, that he's paying for. So those needs are met. So now all she's thinking about is her next level with him.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
See, and
You
again, I
like,
guess
wham,
you do
wham,
get you
wham.
get you I get it. You get a point for this because I do feel like most young women, not all women are street smart when they're young. Some people have to learn the hard lessons, and Natalie is one of those lessons. Because like I have said time and time again, at one point or another on this podcast, the person that holds the money has the power. Okay? So,
They do.
yes. So he's telling you what to do, and you're going to do it because he's got the money. So he says, no, we're not going to see each other this weekend. You're going to sit your ass in your little pay for apartment and just deal with it. Okay. So that's why I think she's delusional. Like, she doesn't understand. It's like she's been told, she's seen evidence of this type of thing going wrong for her friend. She's seen, you know, relationships turn bad, but she's not like figured out that she's not any kind of exception to the rules.
No. And she was definitely new to this world of the sugar bowl, in which he enjoyed because he said she wasn't like the professionals who basically lived by the rules and in a script. They knew not to come back to his apartment, never give him your address. She flubbed up from
Right
the
away.
first date right away. So, and that was another perk that he enjoyed about her, that she wasn't like the professional, like Emily, the one he broke up with, right before he decided to make the arrangement with Natalie, who knew the deal. Okay, you break up with me. Oh, nice necklace. Thank you. Peace and blessings, and kept it moving. Where with Natalie, she's this love struck young girl, which Gabe knew. He should have
Mm-hmm.
known. I'll take some points off for him because I don't curse. His butt should have known what he did to that young girl. He knew she wasn't a professional. He knew that she was not going to take it lightly.
Mm-mm.
This so-called breakup. So
And he
he should have been
acknowledged that,
ashamed.
actually. He did. He says she's
Yeah.
young and she's bitter and she's trying to get back at me. He's talking to himself like, oh, she's not going to really kill me. She's not really going to do anything. She's just young and mad.
Hmm.
But, again, back to the manipulation. Natalie says she pulls the wrong string. She tries to pull the daughter string in another way, and that just
Ooh.
blows up in her face.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a mother. And if you'd have pulled that on just my daughter alone, I would
Mm-hmm.
have snapped. let alone a father. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
When I read that, I was like, oh, you deserve everything you about to get. I wash my hands of you, Natalie. Everything
I
everything
mean,
I felt bad for you for,
it's
I was
gone.
like, I'm done with you. You're done.
Natalie was like, I think he might try to
You're
strangle
nothing
me
to
right
me.
here on the
Oh
street. She
my
was like,
God.
I think he will try to kill me right here
I
on
was
this
afraid
street.
for her when she said, let's meet on the High Line. I was like, because this is my thought. Me, because we're not New Yorkers, audience members. We are from the Midwest, but
Mm-hmm.
we went to New York. Was it 2018? We went to
Yeah.
BEA, and we happened to take a walk on the
On
High
the High
Line.
Line,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I was like, ooh, he could toss her over
Yeah,
and keep it moving. I
he
was like,
could.
is she has lost her mind. She's gonna go meet this man on the High Line after what she just did to his daughter. I was like, oh God. I thought he was gonna toss her. I really did. And just keep it moving.
Yeah. I yeah. The only thing that made me feel like he didn't was the fact that she was in jail. So I knew that that didn't
Yeah, that
happen,
too.
but
Yeah,
I'm like, you
yeah,
cutting it
that's
real
true.
close. But the fact
Yeah, but
that she was too conceited and cocky at the same time because she just knew that she would be able to bend him to her will by threatening
yeah,
to get with his daughter.
yeah.
And I don't think she realized, even though she saw what he did to her ex, I don't think she
See, and that's
realized that he had it in him to do that to her.
right. Okay, the power of the P is powerful, but don't mess with my blood. Don't mess with
Yeah.
my children. Don't mess with my three things: my man, my money, and my key. None.
Mm-hmm.
And she just no. You just did that. But she was, and I think that was at the point where I was saying the pace of the book came to a lull to me, because here she is doing all this dumb, stupid stuff. I think we even talked about that with a previous book, with our last book we discussed, Stranger on the Beach, where the guy kept doing, it was like, it was cyclical, one dumb thing after another. And it's like, and that's where I got to the point. I was like, oh, come on, girl. Here's another dumb thing, and another, and another. And it was, and like you were saying, at a point, because now this is past love. Now it's just stupidity to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just pass love. Now you're just a drunk dummy who's just making
Yes.
dumb decisions. So now you're just adding fuel to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Here you started off with this little fire, and now it's,
It's a dumpster fire now.
gosh,
Yeah.
it is. And I was like, this girl, she's gonna get her ass kicked.
Like, okay, so when she first saw the daughter at the restaurant, the very first time she saw her, I said, oh no. I said, don't do it. Don't do it. And then she goes
Mm.
right over there. I'm like, oh. And then the girl's like, would you like to come to my graduation party? I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. And then she
Oh
goes. I'm like, oh
God.
my gosh. I was waiting on him to strangle the life out of her or something when she was in that bedroom with him. I didn't think he
Mm.
would actually like try to push up on her. I thought he would try to murder her, like for real, like smother
Thank
her or
you. Like when she
something.
was about to take that shirt off, like
Yeah,
wrap it around her head and knock her down or something.
exactly.
I
Like,
was just, oh,
woo,
I'm like, but again, he was thinking with his other head,
yeah,
and yeah, and she knew it, and
she
she knew
did.
it. But
He was angry though. That was angry. He was angered, but he was also turned on. But he was right on that borderline, man. So close. What they say, it's a thin
yeah,
line between love and hate. He's
even hate,
gonna,
yeah,
he's gonna get
it
you.
really was.
Yeah.
But now that we've gotten to
Mm-hmm.
the birthday party situation, shall we start discussing Celeste and Violet? Because
Oh,
I think this is
okay.
a good segue.
Yeah, it is. Okay, you kick that off. I know you got some words.
Ah, um, the end of the story I did not see coming. That twist at the end. Um, I had a feeling one of the two killed Gabe and not Natalie.
Yeah.
I didn't think Natalie did it. Even though she was drunk and said, I'd kill you, I never thought she killed Gabe. I almost had a feeling Oleg did it.
Yeah, I thought that too for a second. I'm like, well, maybe he
Yeah,
knew that he was going to have her killed, so he rescued her and killed him. That's what I
right.
thought.
Because he had a soft spot for her. So I was like,
Yeah.
maybe Oleg did it. But, and then it just got really convoluted with, um, her being an unreliable witness. She was drunk. She saw the guy in the club with the green eyes and, and all these things. And then she gets to, the trial, which was okay. I think
Well,
it could have done a little without the trial.
well, they had evidence. So she took her
That's right.
shirt or something. They had her shirt, or they had that necklace that she claimed was stolen. Someone had
Right.
got that gun that Oleg gave her, or a similar
Yeah.
gun. So they had things that
Right.
only someone completely out of it, which, come to find out, obviously, spoiler alert, she was drunk, but she was also drugged.
Right.
So they were able to get these things off of her person and try to do a little
And plant
cover up.
them.
Right.
Right. And plant them in places because, and I can't recall right off the top of my head that T-shirt, because at the swim party, Violet's girlfriend threw a drink on
Yes.
Natalie, so she had to change the shirt. That's how
Yeah.
her and Gabe got in the bedroom together. Celeste took Fern home and said, Gabe, go get Natalie changed. So she took off a shirt and was given a shirt of Violet. And then come to find out, I guess they used that shirt
Yes.
to wrap up the gun that was used to kill Gabe. And that was some of
Yeah.
the evidence. And when it came to court evidence, it came to find out, gosh, I can't remember how did they were able to prove it couldn't have been her.
Okay, so they didn't really. Okay, so let me just. Do you mind if I just tidy this up a little bit?
No, please tighten it
Okay,
up because I just lost my train of thought.
it's okay. So she didn't actually have a trial. She took a deal. So they offered
That's
her one deal and she was gonna take it, but then her lawyer said, "You won't believe what we found out. We found out that Gabe was trying to kill you."
That's right.
So
Yep.
then they came back and said they did their little hustle thing with the prosecutors and came back with a lighter deal that was like, okay, this is probably the best you're gonna get. And
Right.
she took it. She took it. Because I feel like while she did not remember what happened because she was drugged. So it was kind of like the whole stranger on the beach thing. Did I do it? Did I not do it? I don't know. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
did, because I don't
Right.
remember anything and I woke up in all this blood and blah, blah, blah. And, so I think she just took the deal. And, when that happened, something else happened in the courtroom. So we kind of like flash forward to her sentencing. And that is when the pieces start to fall into place. We're at the sentencing, and Celeste pretty much says, we don't blame her for anything. He was a D-bag, and
He
he
was a
manipulated
sociopath.
her.
Right.
She did this, but we don't think she should go to jail. She spoke for the family. And really, without that, she would have went away for however many years they agreed on.
Right.
Yeah. So then I'm
Because
like,
they
well, why
said,
would she do
the
that?
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
When that happened, I'm like, okay, get into the good part because this is where I think
Yeah.
I know where they're going.
Yep. And at that
So
point,
that's when,
I instantly thought that Celeste did it, but I was still wrong. I said, oh, Celeste
yeah.
did it and covered it up. I mean, she was a lawyer, right? I'm like, oh,
Right.
she did it. And then we found out a little more.
Mm-hmm. Now, at one point, I had thought like all the break-ins and the letters about slut, you think you're, hiding or everybody can see what you're doing. I thought Violet knew about Natalie before, they met up, because remember she kept saying things about her dad, like he's never around and blah, blah, blah. So I thought that she knew her dad was having an affair and had possibly followed him,
Mm,
but I was wrong.
mm.
Yeah, I thought that. And I thought she was possibly the one who had broken into the house, which come to find out it was, but,
Kind
but
of.
yeah, so
Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. But so, and then what, so many years after that, was it years after when she
No,
visits
it was months after. So, however
after?
long she spent in jail, I can't remember. I feel like I wish I had written it down. But she did spend a little bit of time in jail, but it was not even a year, I don't think. I don't even think it was a
Right.
year. Um, so Celeste shows up on her doorstep, like, "Hey, can I talk to you? Hey, can we meet up?" Of course,
Right.
I'm like, "For what you gotta say to me? You already said what you need to say. Why you trying to see me?" But this little girl says, "Okay." She's still kind of dumb, but
And not only that,
yeah,
she wants to meet up with her and everybody in the house is gone. I'm like,
yeah,
no, I need everybody. I need witnesses.
right, right. But see, at that point, you can still tell that Natalie didn't really know if she did it or not, because Celeste kind of freed her. She said, "You didn't kill him."
Right. Yeah, I do. Yep. So
And then
she's
she
so
left,
she's like, okay.
basically.
Yep.
And
Which was good on her part.
yeah, she did
You don't
kind
need
of
to know
relieve her.
anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, and Celeste kind of felt like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but she felt she needed to, which was fair. I feel like you gave
Mm-hmm.
her enough to know that, okay, clearly something else happened and it wasn't me. But, there's
Right.
nothing that can be done at this point. You took a plea deal, it's done. You went to jail.
Right.
You did it. So,
And Celeste was a lawyer, so she knew exactly what
mm-hmm,
she was doing. So basically, Violet killed her dad, called mom
mm-hmm,
to confess, and mom covered it up.
yep,
But mom knew about Natalie basically after the date her and Gabe had at the opera.
yep. So she knew for a while
Yeah. She recognized Natalie when Natalie showed up
up at
at
her.
the darn pool party.
That is what maturity shows you. Age will always trump, maturity will always trump these little young girls. Because
You
guess who
better say
played
it
the
again.
long game? Celeste played the
You,
long
be-
game. It saved
you
her.
better say it again.
Yes. I mean, these little girls think they can do something. No, you can't. Because guess who
Girl,
went
I
to
was
jail?
grinning.
Celeste got her daughter free, got all the money, and got rid of a D-bag husband. Like, okay,
Hmm.
who's winning?
Hmm.
Who's winning?
Hashtag winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So,
I was grinning when I
mm-hmm.
was like, OMG. And probably is cancer free now, because
Yeah,
now she doesn't have all that mess to worry about.
exactly.
So yeah, she did. She covered it up. Because what Susie Weinthrope, which is the lady at the client, the wife of the client, did see him with Celeste. I mean, with Natalie, and told Celeste. So that was what, like, I don't know how long the relationship lasted, but so she knew for a long time. And not only that, she knew about him having that affair with the paralegal
Yeah.
that he thought she didn't know about.
She's no dummy. She like, this little young girl ran her butt up here.
Hmm.
Like, what? He has some lame excuse. She like, no,
Oh, she's
I'm not an
bringing me a
idiot.
brief.
Right.
She's bringing me a brief. And when I found that out, I was like, and this jackwagon says, "Oh, I deserve this because, she's got cancer." Well, when you were having the affair with the paralegal, she wasn't sick. So what was your excuse for that one?
Cause
Because she
he's
didn't get
rude.
cancer until after. Yeah, you're just a jerk.
Yeah.
Straight jerk. Yeah.
So I was
But
not sad
but
at
that
all to see
ending,
him go.
no,
But something in the
no.
ending that did also surprise me is that I knew in my gut that Oleg went and got that gun back. Because when the gun was missing, I'm like, he was the only one that knew he gave her that gun.
Yeah.
So then at the end, when it came back around that she had helped him with something, so now he's going to
Mm,
help her with something, Celeste.
right. Yep. Yep.
So
It's a
it's
good
like,
ending.
wow, again, like Natalie, like she's like, oh, like it's my friend. He's worried about me. He's concerned about me. He gave me the girl. Guess who he was more concerned about? He had somebody else that he cared about
Right.
more than worried about
But
your little self. So
but he did tell Celeste about her hardship, which is why Celeste did um, make that statement
yes,
at
he
her
softened
hearing.
her
So
heart, I think, toward
right, I think
her.
yeah,
Yeah,
she her childhood was rough and this and that. So um and Celeste was the lawyer who looked out for the less fortunate. So I saw that as her turnabout or her giving back to the community,
she's
even
like,
though,
look, somebody got to go down for this. You're not getting off scot free, but
hmm,
I'm gonna make this landing as soft as I can. That's what she did.
exactly. And me and my baby are going to be just fine.
Yes. Shoot.
Hmm.
So with all of that, like this is actually one of the things that I liked. And again, I didn't like. Like I felt that the ending, while I did find some satisfaction in it, I also felt that it was a little flat. And I know that sounds like very contradicting, and it is, but I felt like I wanted it to be a little more dark, a little more gruesome, a little more. I just wanted
A little
more.
more psychological.
Yes.
It was, yeah, I thought that's what I was looking for, a little more diabolical,
Yes. Yes.
a little more, yeah, I was. It was, like you said, it was satisfying, but it could have a little more oomph
Yes.
to it. Yeah. It was,
I mean, it
yeah.
just shocked me that Natalie just gave up so quick. She's like, okay, I'll take whatever deal. I'm like, are you dumb? Are you dumb? You just go take the first deal they give you. And I mean, yes, they did have a bunch of evidence, but that's again, don't be drinking like that. I'm sorry. This is a PSA.
No.
Okay, this is a PSA right now. You getting
Yeah.
blackout drunk, you can't remember anything. She has done this a couple times in this book. She
I
just
was going to
drinks.
say from the beginning,
Right.
her first date, she blacked out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I'm like,
no.
so now you could wake up with a gun in your hand. Somebody done blamed you for some murder. You can't remember because you blacked out. Don't do it.
And not just that, she's making drunken phone calls.
Yeah. I'm gonna kill
Do not
you.
drunk text, do not drunk phone call.
Don't do it.
Because she's right, because she sent Cole the stupid, which I was so pissed off about. She's gonna send him a Facebook message. I have a gun. I will kill you. I'm like, you big dummy.
Yeah,
Now it's in print.
who does
Now
that?
they
Who
can.
goes around saying I have a
Yes.
gun? I'm gonna
Right.
kill you with
Not
it.
not only do I have a right. Not only do I have a gun, I will kill you. Duh. And then you make the drunken phone call to, you know,
See, and that's another sign that she's 22 years old. Don't talk about it, be about it, girl. If he come up on you, you show the gun. Don't say anything.
see, there is your diabolical ending. There it is.
Yeah.
That would have been it.
I just can't with
Him
her.
showing if
Yeah.
and I almost thought that possibly she was gonna oh no, because the gun was gone. She couldn't
Yeah.
have yeah.
It was gone by then,
Oh
but
yeah, it was. If she would have tried to meet up with Gabe and the High Line with her gun. I
I
think I
couldn't
would have took
believe
a
how
gun because
easily Oleg found that gun. She didn't even hide it very well.
no,
Uh-uh.
no. But you know what though, when you're a criminal like, well, I won't say a criminal, but Oleg, he probably knew exactly. this young girl, where do most young girls hide things? In their drawers, So he
Yeah.
probably just knew exactly she was new and unaccustomed to having a gun. So, or did she even mention? She didn't have to mention that to him when her roommates found the gun, right?
No, I don't think she mentioned that to
Okay.
him.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering. Like, did she mention that and I missed that? Because remember, they packed up all her stuff and
Yeah.
said, "We found your gun in the drawer.
We're going to need you to leave."
Yes. You're a bad girl."
They couldn't stand her. They hated her. They wanted her gone. Like, get out of
Girl.
here.
And the way they blasted, not her roommates, but the way those people blasted her on social media
Yeah.
about sugar babies. And that was another
That was
thing
what
I
her
thought
ex
that,
did. I thought her ex did
yeah,
that. He posted a photo of her because he was
yeah.
following her around, and then he outed her.
I wasn't sure about why he was brought into the story. And then I was like, okay, possible blackmail because they're going to try and, Robin, the author, is going to try and throw us off on, he was a red herring, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why are we
A
talking
poor
about?
one, because I just was like, what is, I mean, I knew it wasn't him the whole time. I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I wrote that down, was like, why did they even throw Cole Doborensky or whatever? Because I got tired of hearing his damn name. I'm like, he's not even an integral part of this story.
let me
Really.
tell you exactly what I wrote down for under things I didn't care for. Old boyfriend stalker was a weak AF alternative suspect. But he did show how crazy he was. But I did say that he was a weak AF alternative suspect. So to me, he was like,
He was.
I didn't even think of him like that. I just knew it wasn't him.
No.
Right.
It was so sophomoric.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just, he would have been perfect in a YA book, but in this book,
yeah, it's
no.
not enough. Yeah.
No. I almost would have, and I'll just, maybe that's something we could do in another podcast where we could do alternative endings or whatever. I would have preferred that she wind up having an affair with Oleg. And they didn't. That would have been better. But Cole Doborensky or whatever, you were no freaking match.
Yeah.
None.
No.
You didn't even. No. You darn it could have just plucked him and was like, "Get away, little boy. Move it."
Yeah, for sure.
Like a flea.
Even that little boy she was trying to mess around with in the beginning of the book, I'm like, oh, that was kind of pointless. But
Miguel.
okay, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Miguel. Again, drunk. Again, PSA. Ladies, hold your liquor. No, I'm just kidding.
For real, if you can't hold your liquor,
right.
Don't drink it.
Yeah.
Cut yourself off at 2. I'm just saying.
Right. Stick to that stuff Celeste was serving at the little graduation party.
Yeah, the little drop of vodka.
The little teaspoon of vodka and a big vast of cranberry juice.
Yes. That's how you do it.
Yes. I was like, oh my goodness.
My very last thing that I did really love was the audiobook narrator. So I figured we can switch gears and talk about that next. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll discuss the audiobook narrator, our rating, and of course, our fantasy adaptation cast. Stay with us. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. Amanda Dolan was the narrator. Classy, have you listened to her before?
I believe I have listened to her before. I just can't remember what book it was, and I had meant to look her up because her voice sounds very familiar.
I felt the same way. I felt like I heard her before, but I couldn't pin it. And so I wanted to look through all of her titles, but I just ran out of time.
Did she have a lot? Did you even like kind of look at her books?
Yeah, she had about like four, no, she had about maybe 8 or 9 pages on Amazon.
Oh, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, she had quite a few. So she's got
Okay.
some
So,
experience under her belt.
yeah, I enjoyed her voice. She picked, she changed up the tone a lot. So that was very helpful. I could kind of tell the mood of
Mhm.
the story with her tone. And I think she did an excellent job with the male voices.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't like try and change her pitch or, drop it a register or anything. I think she was just very natural, but I could tell when she was, you know, in the head of Gabe. Because
Mhm.
that's basically it. We were in his head. It wasn't like, right?
Yeah, he
If I'm
wasn't
not
like saying things
mistaken.
out loud, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
totally.
I did enjoy her. So after we're done, I'll have to, and like you said, I too recognize her voice, but just when I did that first page, I was like, nope, these are none of the books. But I bet if I scroll long enough, I'd find her.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought she did a
Yeah.
great job, and I feel like she definitely added something a little extra to this story. I think, sometimes, as we've said before, a narrator can make or break a story. I mean, the story could be
Yes.
excellent, but a bad narrator can just wreck it. It could just be just bad. But in this case,
Yes.
I think we had a pretty good story and a really good narrator. So the two together made it just really easy to digest, I think.
Right. Yeah, the 9 hours flew by with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were none of those annoying mouth noises. I don't remember any of that. None of it. Like breathing or mouth noises. Some of
No.
the things that some narrators, you just hear it and it's like, what is that? Just why are you always doing that? But not here.
Yeah.
She's golden. Yeah, she's golden.
Now, now I did notice, and I don't know if this was something with script or if you noticed this, but I did feel like there were some like pregnant pauses in between some, and it wasn't chapters. I think it was, unless it was chapters, and I just didn't realize it was a chapter break because she doesn't say chapter. I don't believe she did like chapter 3 or whatever. But there were some pauses because at one point I would think, did did I hit pause or did something, how sometimes like a notification or something would come up, or how
Mm,
when you're listening to
yeah.
something and you hear like a break in the sound. So did you notice any of that from your end?
Now that you mention it, I kind of do, but I don't remember if there were titles on the chapters
Right.
because
Yeah,
usually
I don't think
you don't think so.
no, I don't think there were any titles, but I do remember her like pausing. Um
So that might have
and I
just
would
been the
be
chapter breaks then, and or it was bad
yeah,
editing because I don't think that has to do with the narrator. That would have been whoever edited the
edited.
audiobook
Okay.
to, put those scenes together. So I feel like
Okay.
those were chapter markers.
Okay. So maybe that was it. Cause like
Mhm.
when you're walking around, like, when I read the book, I was like cleaning and doing things. And then all of a sudden I hear this break and I'm like, what the heck? And then I'd hear her talk. So yes, it probably was editing or chapter breaks.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
We won't blame that on Amanda.
No, I don't think it was her fault. Blame
Okay.
that editor. uh,
Yes.
okay, so let's rate this thing. I was really torn on my rating. I didn't even, when I finished the book, I marked it as finished in Goodreads and I didn't even rate it yet. So I waited because I wanted to sit on it some more. And I know that my real feelings come out when I'm talking about it.
I did the
So,
same.
yes, you did?
I just,
Okay. We're on the same
yeah, I didn't
page.
rate it as either. I just said, you know what? I'll just mark it as finished and, um, go with my feeling after
Uh-huh.
talking about it.
Okay.
And yeah, I think my rating has probably gone up because
Mine's
as I was
too. Oh
talking,
my God.
because after talking with you, I
Yes.
felt like giddy and happy, and I was like,
Yes.
so if I'm like laughing and whatever, that mean I must have had a pretty good time reading the book. Besides all the negatives, there's more positives than negatives.
Yeah, it was good. And I'm going to
Yeah.
just be full disclosure here. Before we started this conversation, I was at a 3. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, it was good, but I had some problems. So I was kind of being critical. But after this conversation, just like you, I felt really good about it. I had a good time
Yeah.
talking about it. I felt good about the things that we talked about. And no, it wasn't perfect, but what book is? There's only a few. There's only a handful
Right.
that I've read that I deemed
Yeah.
perfect. So I'm
Yeah.
going to give it a 4, a solid 4.
Get out of my head. Because after I was at a 3 because I was like, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. It's not what I thought it was going to be. But
Yeah.
then after dissecting this book and the characters and how Robin wrote this story, because I mean, when we talked about these characters, she did a damn good job of
Yeah, she
like
did.
doing Gabe, the description of Gabe. I hated him.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated him because she wrote him that way. And
Yes.
Natalie, yes, she was a dumb, stupid, naive 22-year-old. And how did we find that out? Because Robin did such a wonderful job of
Mm-hmm.
making us, feel that way. And after discussing it with you and having that banter and laughing, I'm like, we've read how many books and there was no banter
Yeah.
or fun,
Yeah.
and I was at a 3, and after our conversation, I'm at a 4. I think it was more than okay for me. It was a good
Yeah.
book.
It was good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would recommend it if you like um a lighter psychological thriller. It's definitely not that dark. So if you like psychological thrillers but you want something a little lighter, this actually
Right.
could fall under women's fiction, maybe.
Hmm.
Because it's not so much, because on when I was looking on Amazon, it's also categorized in women's fiction and I can kind of see it.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
under psychological thrillers, psychological fiction, and women's fiction. And it kind of does fit all of those.
Okay.
But
I can
just
see
know
that.
if you're about the thriller life, it's not very,
It, it's a soft thriller.
yeah, soft thriller. But definitely read it. Give it a chance. It's
Yeah.
good.
And I mean, the research that she did and the worlds, it was enjoyable. I mean, if you know nothing, to come in blindly about this topic and to, after finishing it in what I know, and that's something else that I'd have to put out there too when I read a book. When I'm done with the book and I've learned something, and I don't care if it's thriller, historical, fantasy, when I can learn something, that's an added bonus to me because like, oh, and not just, oh, I mean, she went in depth.
She did. We got a lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Um,
did.
I also think this would be great because, like, sometimes, and I know not all book clubs do this, but some book clubs, you get really into some heavy books, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
this would be a great palate cleanser for book club. You would just have a
Yeah.
fun time talking about it and getting rowdy
Mm-hmm.
about it. And it's good. I feel like it would be a great palate cleanser for in that sense because you got to break up the
Oh, there's so
monotony
many
of all the
topics.
serious topics.
Yeah, and all the topics you could talk about, like, would you protect your daughter? What would you do if you found out your husband? It's just so many things, Natalie and her parents, how they had to leave their life to support her. So yeah, this would be a great book club book.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got only one thing left, and that is our absolutely fabulous casting. I think we did excellent with the casting.
I'm dancing over here. This is
You're
my favorite
dancing.
part. I'm dancing. It's my favorite
Okay.
part.
And I do want to, like how we talked about last time, we're going to share both of our cast, but I want us together to make one cast from our cast. So we're going to have one at the end where we say we're going to pick my pick or Classy's pick. Together, we're going to choose it.
Okie dokie.
Because I feel
Let's
like
do
together, I feel like we make good cast on our own, but I feel like together we make a better one. So we have our best, and then together we're going to make a better cast. What do you think?
I'm going to go for that.
Okay, let's try it. Let's try
Okay,
it
let's
this
try
time
it.
and see how it goes. Okay, so let's
Okay.
start with Natalie. For her, I picked Leighton Meester, and she is most known for playing Blair on Gossip Girl. And I could totally see her as being naive, yet a little bit crazy, and definitely a drunk.
Ah. And see, I've never seen Gossip Girl, so
Oh, if you had, you would just love her because I feel like the whole Blair Chuck relationship it just made me think of this actress in a different way. I'm like, she has so much range. So
oh,
much
okay.
range. So I buy it. So who's your pick?
My pick was Vanessa Hudgens. And she starred in, well, what I mainly know her from is, what is the little Disney show?
Girl, watch Disney.
High School Musical? Was that
Oh,
what I remember her from? I think
isn't
it's
she
High
a
School
singer
Musical.
though? Is she a singer too, or just an actress?
She, now
I
you
mean, her
know
face
all
is
those
familiar
Disney.
to me. I
I
just,
say now you know all those Disney ladies all sing.
yeah. She looks familiar to me, but I would have never thought of her, honestly.
She was in Grease. The newer, the new Grease, live. She did Grease live,
I
and then
didn't
she
watch
did
that.
a lot of, yeah, and she did a lot of, Disney shows. So, um, in the picture that you picked, she has the sultry look, but I saw her as, her sweet, innocent kind of, pictures that I've seen her in. Um, so yeah, I picked her because the description of Natalie was brunette, delicate features. I think you mentioned doe eye. So she was one of the few that I could think of. And I'm going to have to put a disclaimer out there. I don't watch a lot of TV, and I tried watching TV this weekend so I could pick a person, and I didn't run across a nice brunette. So Vanessa is it.
Okay, so I feel like mine's is a better pick
I
for,
agree.
for Natalie. I just do.
I agree. Like I told you, I don't watch a lot of TV. So you will see like the people that I pick
Yeah.
are just people I know. But yeah, I'll
Okay.
agree. I'll take your Natalie.
Okay, bet. Okay,
Okay.
so let's move on to Gabe, old funky Gabe. So
Mm,
I tried to think of who I thought would be attractive as a 52 or 53-year-old person. Um, and to me, that was McSteamy, obviously. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
I forgot about
Eric Dane.
McSteamy. Yeah, I forgot about McSteamy.
And plus, I saw him recently in uh, Euphoria on HBO, and he was a total D-bag on that show. So I'm like, oh my God, I could see him acting very non McSteamy and acting like a really horrible person
Ah,
plotting to kill someone because I believed that the stuff he was doing in this show was so grotesque. I'm like, I can see him being really evil and nasty about some stuff. So I'm like, he's got range too. Who knew Eric Dane could act so different from Grey's Anatomy? He did.
right. Is Euphoria the television show with Zendaya?
Yes.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
it is.
Haven't watched it, but I did see the name. And
It's
yes, he's
good,
a
but it's shocking. It's very. I got to give you guys a warning. If you want to watch this, just be aware there are some volatile things going on, violent things, kind of gross things at times. So, drugs, sex, alcohol, rape, consent, all the bad things that could happen, they're in this show.
wow.
So it's
Okay.
heavy. It's heavy, but it's good. It's well done.
Okay.
So you've been warned.
So yeah, and you're not the first one to say that. It's someone else said it was like a train wreck,
Yeah.
but they couldn't stop watching
Yeah.
because they wanted to know the end result.
Mm-hmm.
So, my Gabe, I picked Matthew McConaughey,
Mm.
and I just while reading this, I could just see him. I thought he's so smooth that he has swagger. I felt like 22-year-old or my 22-year-old self would see him and would be like, okay, daddy. Okay, just kidding.
Oh Lord.
But I just thought like he wouldn't be your regular 55-year-old or however old Gabe was, 52-year-old.
I don't know.
I thought
He's
he was
30 plus years. So he's between 52 and probably 55 or 56. He's not older than that, I don't think.
okay. Yeah. And I thought, and I don't think I've seen Matthew McConaughey in like playing too many dirtbag roles, but I do believe he's a good character actor with range who could, play those different roles. But I think he could smooth talk a young lady. I think outside of having money, just having that appeal.
Okay.
I know you don't try and say McDreamy one. I know.
But
Or steamy.
if you believe that McConaughey could do it, if you think he looks sexy at 56 or whatever, I will concede, even though in my mind,
Shut up.
I will give it
Now
to you
wait,
though.
hold on now, how old is it McSteamy right now?
Let me
Can we
look it
look
up.
his
I'm
age up?
curious. I'm gonna look it up
And
because he
I'll look up
looked
Matthew.
okay.
And Matthew looks very skeletal in this picture. He needs some more meat on him.
You want me to find a better picture before I post
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Okay, so Eric Dane is technically in the real world 46 years old.
Let's see what Matthew is. Matthew McConaughey. How old are you? I think you might
send
be in
me
the
a
same
picture
age.
you want to use of that guy, and I'll use
Matthew
it.
is 49.
Okay, but he looks older than 49.
Especially in that picture.
Okay, send me the picture, Classy, and I will use whatever you want me to use in there.
I'm torn. I'm not giving up, Matt. I'm not giving up, Matt.
Okay, we'll write down Matt. We'll write down. You guys come back at us and tell us which one is better. But in our cast, in our joint cast, we'll go with Matt because I'm gonna assume she's gonna bring me a picture that's gonna wow me.
Shut up. You just act like you just know I'm not gonna find a fine looking picture of Matthew.
Girl, you wanna know how long I scroll through pictures? I'm not even gonna say.
The picture that I probably send you, it probably won't be a recent picture.
Oh, no, you can't fake us out with an old picture. You got to get a 2018 or newer picture.
Hey, we're in the Sugar Bowl here, baby. Anything.
We're not catfishing.
The pictures that those lady. Now, what did she say, Natalie, say about the picture of the one guy? She's like, well, it doesn't look exactly like his picture on his profile. So there.
No, we're not catfishing people. We know what's up.
All right.
Okay, let's go on to Celeste. And I picked Vanessa Williams. I actually was torn between her and another woman who I really liked. I can't remember her name right now. I can't even think of it. And she had an odd name, so I knew I would pronounce it wrong. But I figured that the other... Yes. You had her too?
Gugu. No, I didn't have Gugu. But I know.
But you knew who I was talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I had her at first, but I felt she looked too young. So while Vanessa Williams looks amazing, I needed someone who looked more age appropriate to go with Gabe.
And they're a good couple.
Yes, and they're both beautiful people. So, and Google looks great, but I feel like she looks more like she's in her 30s than in her late 40s, you know?
Yes, because it's the
So,
melanin. But anywho,
yes.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you did a good pick. But I would have to say my pick, Thandie Newton, is hands down the winner. Thandie, I could see
I like her.
her. Yeah, when they talked about her getting sick and she had lost weight and was doing all the health, she was doing all her smoothies and vitamins and things. I immediately thought of Thandie. And I can't
Yeah.
remember what role I saw her in before, but it kind of matched that. So,
Most recently, just for point of reference for y'all, if y'all don't know her, I feel like her most recent contribution was Westworld.
oh, I forgot about Westworld. Yes. Yep. I think yeah. And I mean, she does. And then I could just see her at the end, sitting at the end of the story, sitting in the back of that car, contemplating her and Oleg having a relationship.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Especially with my Oleg. Mm. Okay, let's continue. So we're going to put down Thandie.
Gosh. Let's see
Okay,
who
so
you picked for
let's go on
Oleg.
to Ava. Ava is the friend that got Natalie into the Sugar Bowl. I picked Ashley Benson, and she is from Pretty Little Liars and a bunch of other stuff, but I think that's the biggest thing that people know her from is probably Pretty Little Liars. And yeah, I just feel like she cleans up really nice, and I can see her trying to tell somebody how to play some guys. I just feel like it's in there. I can see her breaking down and running out of town when something bad happens. I can see all of that. So I like her.
Okay. She's okay. I am. I picked Sophie Turner.
I love Sophie Turner.
Thank
She's
you.
the best. I do
AKA
love her.
Sansa.
Yeah,
Sansa.
I do
Um,
like her, but
I
I
just
think
saw
she,
the sophistication um, with Sophie. I picked Sophie because when we first meet Ava, she's very sophisticated.
she is.
Natalie is drawn to her. She has the art. She's a sugar baby. She's been in this business for a while, so she's a professional. She knows how to present herself. She knows how to walk into a room, and that's what I saw when I saw. I almost wanted to say Sansa,
You
and
were
that's what I
seeing
see.
you were seeing Queen of the North. That's what you were seeing.
Hmm. Yes, I
Hmm.
was.
Mm-hmm.
So that was going to be a tough one too. I'm not giving up Sophie that fast, ma'am. No,
Okay, well
it's
let's
going to be a fight.
continue. Let's continue on and see what else because oh my gosh, Google, shut up. Google just totally just did I say Google? No. Why did it start
Oh,
talking?
you said Google like earlier.
Oh, but it just now figured out. Oh, that's so
Yep,
crazy.
because you were saying
Anyway,
something about the pictures.
oh, okay. So let's move on, and then we'll come back to Ava because I'm not ready to concede on Ashley Benson. Um,
Audience
so
sounds like
next,
you're going to have to vote.
yeah. So let's do Violet. So Violet
Okay.
is the daughter of Celeste and Gabe. And I picked Amandla Steinberg. I think she is the cutest, and I can see her being kind of like all the things that Violet is. I could just see her in it, like 100%. I could.
Yeah. I mean, like I text you earlier, she was one of my picks because I could see her being an activist. I could see her with the septum ring. I could see, her just being woke, as Robin put it in the book. And
Yeah,
I mean, she's played many roles where she was,
in
quote
that.
unquote, a woke character.
Yeah, like think
So
of
I
the
could,
Hunger Games or the Hate You Give or the Darkest
yeah,
Minds. All of those, she was kind of like standing up for something.
right. And I did not pick her because she's played in enough stuff already.
Oh, boo. That's not a good enough reason.
That's why I didn't pick her, because she's being overused for these roles.
No, she isn't. Rude.
So I decided that Yara Shahdia should be Violet.
No,
Yara
I
is
disagree.
best known as the daughter on Blackish, and she has her own show, Grownish.
And she also did The Sun is also a star. That was actually a little bit of irony here. That is a Nickelodeon book, and so is Everything, which Amanda Steinberg was in.
Yep.
So they both did adaptations for Nickelodeon titles. So
I picked Yara. And I mean, Amanda, I might give you Amanda because I almost picked Amanda, but I do like Yara.
Amanda fits better. I'm sorry.
So what are you trying to say? What's wrong with Yara? Because she's too sweet?
Is that it? I don't know. I feel like she's too old. I can't buy her as being that naive. I don't feel like.
You think Yara is too old?
I feel like she can't play. In my mind, I have a hard time with Yara thinking that she doesn't know her sexuality or not trying to figure it out or trying to. I just don't see her pulling that off in a way that's believable for me.
Okay, all right, for you.
So I can believe Amanda being like, I don't know, I like everybody. We're just people.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that she isn't she?
Girl, I don't know. I'm talking about as an actor.
I'm just saying, but I believe she is. I thought that was like a contention with, a while back.
With Yara?
No, Amanda.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about her personally.
So I'll give you Amanda. I'll give you that one. Okay, we'll go there.
Okay, so last but not least is Oleg's character, and we ended up going with him because I think we both kind of came to the consensus that he was the most, I guess, active, kind of like low second tier character, if that makes sense. So like of the second stringers, he was the most relevant.
Right. He played a key role. In the end, I mean, he played a key role throughout, little drops, little breadcrumbs, and then it was wham at the end. So yes, Oleg.
Yes. Okay, so who'd you pick? Let's go with yours first.
I went with Viggo Mortensen, and he is most recently that I know of was the driver in the Green Book to Don Shirley, who was I forget his name, Marshala, whoever his name, I can't remember, but he was the driver in Green Book. I saw Oleg as being an older guy, and he was Moldavian. What was the name of the country? Moldavian. Yeah. So I mean, because Natalie thought he was
Moldova.
Russian. Yeah, it might have been Moldova. And I just saw him being like a tough, scruffy guy with a nice, sharp jawline, and that's why I picked Viggo.
Now, see, okay, I do like your pick. But I went with someone who looked like they could hail from that region. The whole Russia, Ukrainian, Moldova, type arena, but they can act. So hopefully they have a good accent. It doesn't have to be natural. I just have to believe it on the screen. So I actually picked Chris Carmack, and he is new to me. I only saw him on last season of Grey's, but I was looking for someone who had a certain look about them, but I didn't. I feel like in the book, I felt like Oleg was a little older, but I'm taking creative license and making him a little younger because I wanted him to look good with Vanessa, and I wanted him to I wanted to believe that he could handle a gun, jump in a window, or send somebody to jump in a window to steal a gun, convince somebody to do some dirty work. I just felt like a younger person, not a child, because, obviously this guy is not a child, but, not 50. Just
And he
so
is so young.
he's not that young, girl.
He looks young. I
He
remember him. I
is
thought
not.
didn't he start playing Nashville or something?
I didn't watch that show.
I think he looks familiar. But anyway, I think he's too pretty. When I think of that driver, of the driver, and I don't know, I just see him as being just a little rough around the edges, and I don't see rough.
I'm sorry, he can't be rough. I mean, just think about it. Like, yes, you got to change the hair, right? Throw some spiky hair up there or something. Get rid of all the stupid tresses, right? Cut the hair back.
And if
Put
you
him
look
in
at
a
my
different kind
Vigo,
of
you don't need to
outfit.
do any of that. He's just ready.
I
Vigo is ready.
guess.
Vigo is ready. You don't have to do much to him.
I will give you Vigo if you give me Ashley. Or we keep Chris.
Wait. So far, I only have Sandy and Vigo, and we're still stuck with Matt.
We're stuck with who? Oh, yeah, we have Matt.
I think we were like a little tie. We didn't give him up because yours is a nice pick too. I think we were like a tie there.
Well, yeah, but I said I would concede. I said I would if you bring me a good picture that makes him, drool worthy, and I'll concede.
I'll concede Matt, but I'm not conceding Sophie.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go with.
I'll give you McSteamy.
Okay, all right. So we have Eric Dane as Gabe, Lee Tun, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Meester as Natalie. We have Thandie Newton as Celeste, Sophie Turner as Ava, Amandla Steinberg as Violet, and Vigo Morrison for Oleg.
Okay.
I like it.
I'm happy. I'm happy.
I like it.
Yes. The more I look at McSteamy, I can see the gray or whatever he has in there. I can see. Okay. I'll give you that.
Girl, yeah. Come on now.
Natalie
would be like, oh, that's because do you remember the scene where she first saw him? She was like, yeah, he's older, but he's not old.
Right, he's not flabby. I don't think his, who's probably sag. He's pretty in shape.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, for her because that was one of her big points of contentions. Like, these nasty old men. But when she saw him, she was like, oh, wait, he cleans up really nice and he doesn't look like that. So that's why I'm like, yeah, he gotta look good.
Right. Okay, so I can't wait to see your final collage of our cast.
Yes. We're gonna do a combo for the very first time.
Yeah, but to see, our trailer, because, we are casting directors anyway, but our trailer of our cast, to see the visual will be great.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think together we have made an excellent cast. I really do. I feel like it's great.
Yay! Can't wait to
see it. So if you guys have read this book, we want to know who you would cast in these roles. And if you think that we cast it appropriately. Like, are you down for the choices we made? Let us know. And if you don't know who these people are, of course, you can always go to the blog post and see all of the photos there. And leave comments. Find us on the Facebook group and talk about it there. Yes, this was good. I'm excited.
Yeah. That was
all
fun.
Right, good show.
Fighting for my picks.
I kind of like it. We had to defend our picks and I think that's what casting people do. They pick and then they bicker over who gets the job.
Right.
Yeah, y'all need to come holler at us. We're great.
I was about to say that. They need to recognize our
Yes.
skills.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, we got it. Okay, so I think that's it. What do you think, Classy?
I don't have anything else to say. This was fun.
Yeah, it was. The arrangement gave us what we wanted, which was a fun time. So, yeah. Thank you, Robin Harding.
Yay, Robin.
Yes. So that's it, guys. We are done for today. Be sure to follow us on social media, join the Facebook group, and find out what we'll be reading next. And until next month, take care and happy reading. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
If you enjoyed today's book chat episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy all things bookish, including author interviews. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.